Let me start with a number, not a speech, not a promise, a cold hard number. 140 million Nigerians. I repeat, 140 million Nigerians living in poverty right now in 2026. This is not a projection. This is not a political attack. This is the World Bank, one of the most authoritative financial institutions on the face of earth, sitting down in Abuja, opening their report and telling Nigerians to his face what many Nigerians already know in their bones every single morning they wake up. The World Bank, in its Nigerians Development Update released in April 2026, titled Nigeria's Tomorrow Must Start Today, the Case for Early Child Development, confirmed that Nigeria's poverty rate has now climbed to 63% in 2025. 63%. That means if you line up 10 Nigerians on the streets right now, 6 of them are poor. 6. And we are sitting here clapping for macroeconomic stability. We are dancing to GDP figures while our mothers cannot afford food. The share of Nigerians living below the poverty line rose from 56% in 2023 to 61% in 2024, before climbing further to 63% in 2025, equivalent to about 140 million people. And here is the part that should make every Nigerian stop and stay at the wall. This increase happened even as inflation began to ease. Think about that. Prices were coming down, they said. Inflation was cooling, they said. And yet, more Nigerians slipped into poverty. More families fell through the floor because falling prices mean absolutely nothing when your income has already been destroyed. The World Bank said it plainly. Household incomes have not grown fast enough to offset still elevated inflation. Poverty has yet to begin decline, not begin to decline. Vanguard newspaper reported this directly. The Punch confirmed it. Nairametrics broke it down. And every single one of those outlets was saying the same thing. The economic reforms have not reached the people. The gains are sitting somewhere at the top, and the suffering is piling up at the bottom. World Bank's lead economist for Nigeria, Fisher Hale, speaking at the launch of the report, said poverty remains high despite improvement in macroeconomic indicators, and stressed that reducing poverty will depend on growth that actually creates jobs and raises income for the most vulnerable. Not growth on paper, not growth in press release, real growth. The kind of a widow in Kano can feel, the kind a graduate in Owerri can taste, the kind a farmer in Benue can hold in his hands at the end of the season. That kind of growth Fisher Hale is telling us is not here yet. Now, let's talk about agriculture, because this cuts deep. The World Bank noted that economic expansion has been driven largely by services and industry, while agriculture, where more than half of the poor work, has lagged behind. And this imbalance, the bank said, has limited incomes gains among vulnerable populations, weakening the connection between a national growth and improved living standard. So the people who feed this country, the farmers, the smallholder producers, the rural communities, they are being left behind by the very economy they are supposed to be part of. Does that not break your heart? Does that not make you want to sit down and weep? The report also linked the rising poverty to broader human capital challenges: poor nutrition, limited access to healthcare, weak early childhood development outcomes among low-income households, warning that these factors could reinforce long-term inequality if not urgently addressed. So we are not just talking about today, we are talking about the children of today who will become poor adults of tomorrow, unless something changes now. The title of this World Bank report says it all. Nigeria's tomorrow must start today. But what tomorrow are we building when 140 million people cannot survive today? Finance Minister Wale Edun stood at the launch of this report and said the government's ultimate goal is to lift Nigerians out of poverty by the millions. Good. Write it down. Because the World Bank has projected that poverty may only fall to about 59% by 2028. Even that modest improvement comes with warnings about weak job creation, low agricultural productivity, and persistent inequality. From 63% to 59% in 2 years. That is the best case scenario they are giving us. And even that depends on everything going right. Let me bring this home. The World Bank report highlights a growing disconnect between economic recovery signals and the realities faced by households, noting that recent improvements have yet to translate into better living conditions for most Nigerians. As the Whistler put it, 140 million Nigerians remain trapped in poverty despite economic growth. Trapped. That word alone, trapped. Like there is no door. Like there is no window. Like the economy is a mansion with beautiful architecture and the poor are pressed against the gate. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa. Nigeria has oil. Nigeria has gas. Nigeria has some of the most brilliant minds on this planet. And yet, 63% of her people, 6 out of every 10 sons and daughters of this soil, wake up every morning unable to meet basic needs. That is not a statistic. That is a scandal. That is a national emergency. That is a question every leader in Abuja should not be able to sleep through at night. This is not the time for spin. This is not the time for press conferences about reform that have not reached the people. This is time for honesty, for urgency, for the kind of governance that remembers that power is borrowed and that people are watching. 140 million Nigerians. Remember that number. Say it until it moves you. Say it until it moves somebody who can do something about it. If this video touched you, share it, because silence on this is complicity. Like, subscribe, and let's keep speaking the truth to power together. Until I see you on the next video, remain blessed.